There are two main physical ways to read comics. And those two ways are reading comics through single issue or reading them in trade. And today I'm going to be comparing both of them by giving you their pros and cons and giving my opinion. Anyway, my name is Joshua, and today I'm going to compare single issues and trades to see which one is the best for you. Okay, so before I start comparing both of them, I need you guys to have a clear understanding of what they are. A single issue is a 20 to 30 page comic that is usually part of a story that gets released every single month under a single title. A trade paperback is a collection of single issues put into one book that make up a whole story that get released a few months after the story arc is completed. So since we're done defining each of them, let's start with single issues. I'm going to talk about them and give you guys their pros and cons. Okay, so let's start with the pros. The main reason people buy single issues are because they get their story earlier compared to buying in trade. People also read comics in single issues to prevent spoilers. And if you read comics in single issues, there is a small potential that that comic will go up in value, which is the reason why many comic book collectors choose to buy single issues over trades. Another reason people buy single issues is to support their comic book store more so they can survive and also help the comic book industry. And those are all the main pros that single issues have. Now, let's go to the cons. The main reason people don't buy single issues is because they are very expensive. Not only would you have to buy the single issue themselves, but you would also have to buy a comic book bag, board, and if you have a lot of comic books, you would even need to buy a box. These things you need to buy for your single issues are to keep them safe, because I think you can even rip your single issues with your bare hands. Another problem with single issues is that if you miss a month without going to the comic book store, the issue you are supposed to get might get out of stock. And the last con of single issues I wrote is that it's a hassle to reread a full story arc of your single issues. Since we're done with these single issues, now let's move on to trades and their pros and cons. Okay, so let us start with the pros. The main pro of trade paperbacks is that they're cheaper because you don't need to protect them, although you'll need a bookcase. Trade paperbacks are also more durable and have better paper compared to single issues, and sometimes they could even have extra content. Also, trades are an easier way to catch up on a story if you are very, very late. And sometimes some stories are better to be read in trade than in single issue. Okay, so now let's go to the cons of trade paperbacks. The main problem with trades is the trade wait. Trades come a few months after a single issue story arc is completed, so you would probably get spoilers. Also, for me, most superhero stories are better read in single issue than in trade. And some of the older trades probably won't get reprinted again. So you probably have to go digital or try to hunt down for the single issues. And those are the pros and cons of single issues in trades. Now for my opinion. I think that if you're trying to save money, go for the trade. But if you have a good amount of money, I suggest for the main titles you're reading, read it in single issue. And the titles you care less about, I think you should read them in trades. And if you are very rich, I think it would be fun to have both. That's just my opinion. By the way, I didn't put digital comics in this episode because I have no experience with digital comics whatsoever, so I'll probably get something wrong if I put it in this video. Anyway, that is all for today. Thank you everyone who watched this video until now. And I would love to hear what you think. What are your opinions on this video? And how do you read your comics? Leave it all down in the comments below, because I want to hear them. And like and subscribe if you want to. And I will see you in the next comic book video if you subscribe.